A really stunning new report for our nation's kids. Data from the National Assessment of Education Progress revealing the first major decline in certain test scores since it began tracking trends 50 years ago. Reading dropping 3 points for 13-year-olds since 2012, with 29% of the age group saying they never or hardly read for fun. Compare that to only 8% who said the same in '84. And math scores posting the sharpest drop, down 8 points for black 13-year-olds and 4 points for Hispanic 13-year-olds. The assessment was administered right before the pandemic. Again, showing student progress declined even before remote learning hit. Here now is Bill McGurn from the Wall Street Journal. He is also a Fox Business contributor. Bill, thanks for coming in. I can't overestimate how big this is, and all of the experts who've been looking at these numbers. There's one woman who says, I've been reporting these results for years, for decades, and I've never reported a slide like that. But meanwhile, they got billions of dollars for critical race theory and all sorts of stuff that is not going to improve our GDP one iota.
Yeah, it should be a scandal. Look, as we've reported, this has been going on for years. I mean, the NAEP also has a separate reporting mechanism for these big city school districts, about 25 of them, and they're just horrible. In many districts like New York, even a majority of the kids aren't learning at level. It should be a big scandal. A couple of weeks ago, I pulled out the numbers for black 8th graders in these big cities. And not a single one of the 27 had a majority of black 8th graders proficient in reading or mathematics. And this is just a scandal. We're condemning these kids at an early age to life on the fringes of the American dream.
Yeah, and meanwhile, of course, our competitors like China are completely focusing their attention on the skills that people will need in order to excel in a technological environment, on math skills, on reading and writing skills, et cetera, and on other, even more technical skills that you'll need in order to deal with computers. And again, this was before the pandemic. Now with the pandemic, it's probably much worse. I have a friend who's a high school teacher in a poor section in New Jersey. He says that 80% of his students are failing right now, and he's being advised by the principal not to put down an F, but he's doing it anyway because he can't lie.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And what we learned during the pandemic is that the public schools don't put their kids first,
right,
or the parents, especially in the big cities. They're very unaccountable. It's one of the reasons we have all these protests at school boards going on around the country. If we had more choice, more school choice, more kids would have the choice of better schools, and more parents would at least be satisfied that their kids were in the schools they think were best for them.
That's a point of these protests that hasn't been emphasized enough. It's not just being against critical race theory and the other things that create bad feelings in schools. I mean, that's bad enough, don't get me wrong, but it's also the fact that they're failing on the most important stuff, and yet we're spending more than ever, $30,000 per year per student in New York to educate kids, and hundreds of billions of dollars in these COVID relief plans going directly to the unions that support the kind of critical race theory as opposed to reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah, I mean, if you had you report business, if there were a Fortune 500 CEO that had these kind of results year in, year out, they'd be replaced. But there's just what parents are learning is that the public schools are not accountable to the public.
Yeah.
And the most vulnerable kids, the kids that need a decent education most, they're the ones being most harmed because their parents don't have the resources to go to a private
Absolutely.
school or a parochial school.
It hurts. It's like inflation. It hurts the poor and the middle class much harder than they have much fewer options than the wealthy people. And now you have an attorney general who's sicking the FBI on parents who dare to suggest that they have something to do with what happens to their kids' education that they're paying a fortune for in taxes.
Yeah, and it's not only conservative parents. This is, the revolts in Loudoun County and Fairfax in Virginia. These are affluent Democratic strongholds for the most part. Look at San Francisco, where they're trying to recall 3 board members. San Francisco is one of the most woke cities in America, but people are tired of their kids not getting the education they need and the schools not being responsive to their needs.
Well, Bill, finally, on a political point, we just heard the president, he's in Connecticut, talking about Terry McAuliffe, who famously, and producers, do we have that little soundbite? Okay, let's play this out. A lot of people have heard this, but here he is talking about the role of parents in their own kids' education. Listen.
I'm not going to let parents come into schools and actually take books out and make their own decision. Yeah, I stopped the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should be teaching. I mean, do you really think you can win on that message?
Well, look, that's the classic Washington gaffe, a politician who inadvertently blurts out the truth. Yeah. It's a big deal because the kind of voters that are looking at that now, he's just let the cat out of the bag. And a lot of these voters, these parents showing up at school boards, these are the kind of voters that the Republicans lost over the years, suburban moms and dads and so forth. And I don't think it helps Terry McAuliffe to be making that argument.
I don't think it does either. We'll see. I mean, we'll see soon enough. He's running for governor, and the race is coming up next month. Bill McGurn, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend.